This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, January 17th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology. It's cold out there, guys. I don't know if you noticed, but I've had to wear a jacket for the last couple of days, which means you guys are probably under snow and whatnot.
I'll say, what's cold to you?
Yeah, well, a jacket. You have to wear a jacket. Like a light windbreaker.
So like 60?
I wore a hoodie today.
50 or 60?
It's been in the 50s, yeah.
Oh, man. So cold.
Those poor iguanas.
It was like 2 degrees this morning when I woke up, so a little colder than you, but not by much, you know. If we had iguanas, they would probably be dead.
I don't think the thermostat goes that low here. Like, I think people would be dead if that went that low.
Yeah, Florida would be shut down for sure. Yeah, I woke up this morning and I went out to our Three Seasons room or our den that we're working on, and it said like 8 degrees or 10 degrees on there, and I was like, man, it cannot be 10 degrees. And so I checked Home Assistant. I looked at my weather station, and it said 1.4 degrees outside, and I was like, stop, that's not possible.
It's even lower than you thought.
The dog did not want to hang out outside. He looked at me. He's like, I don't want to go out there.
Have you had any winter weather out there, Gavin?
We have, like, north of us, we have a lot of snow and stuff. Where I am particularly, like, it's not sticking around. We're getting little light dustings. I take my leaf blower out and just blow it off, you know, throw down some salt and everybody's happy. You know, we just got the snowblower fixed, and of course we have no snow. So that's the way it's going to work.
That's weird. We got all your snow. We got like 6 inches of snow in the past week. The mother-in-law and father-in-law were up from Florida, and they never see snow when they're up here, but it just so happened to snow while they were here. So that was a nice surprise.
Well, when you're driving across our city, you think those are wind turbines for electricity. They're actually fans blowing the weather back down there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, yeah, you know, we got that. We got it.
We do have a little bit of follow-up. I know we talked about this, I think, before the end of the year sometime. We were looking at this AI port product that Sonos was releasing. This thing, it looks like we thought it was only going to be like $199 for one camera, but it looks like you can get 5 cameras on it. So it's not just for one camera. You get, it's tricky. If you're using on-VIF cameras in 2K, you can only do 2 cameras. If you're using on-VIF cameras, these on-VIF are the third-party cameras, not the unified cameras. If you're using HD, you can get 3 cameras. If you're using Protect cameras, you can get up to 5. So if you're using like the small G3s or whatever. So that kind of changes the dynamic.
Yes.
This is whether if I really want one of these or not. Because if I'm only going to get 2 cameras out of it, no thank you.
I think when we first talked about it, it was such new news that we didn't know all the little details behind it. And eventually they came out with more details. Yeah. And essentially, I think I'm trying to get my hands on one. They've been sold out since I can't get my hands on one. But I think I'll only get maybe one, if anything, because I don't need this on every camera. I just need this on the cameras that I want the AI stuff for, right? I have some cameras that I don't even do anything with. They're just recording all the time. And yeah, if you could get up to 5 cameras on one of these, like, I didn't realize this too when we first talked about it, but you could just sit this in your rack or something like that and you assign the camera to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the camera doesn't have to actually be plugged into it. So it just keeps getting better and better. And I really, as soon as it shows up in the store again, I'm grabbing 1 or 2.
Yeah, they're $200 here, and I think they've pretty much been sold out since they launched. I think I may have seen it in stock one other time, but that's it.
I think you're right, TJ. I've only seen them in stock one other time, and I think they went away pretty quickly. I want to say that there was also in their FAQs, they're always changing depending on what they're doing. But I want to say, here it is. If you want to do more than 1 camera, don't buy it right now, because the very first question, how many cameras is the AI port compatible with? Each AI port currently sports 1 on-VIF or 1 unified Protect camera. And then future product updates, here we go. Future product updates will expand the capacity to support multiple cameras. And then you go down to the bottom question, and it tells you what they're kind of planning on. So I don't know.
It's one of those products I'll say, buy now. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I know when you want it, it's going to be out of stock. So just get it now. And if it's out of stock, you don't want it anymore, you can sell it easily.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I've done that before too. And I had like this unified touchscreen thing, and then they discontinued it.
Well, you bought the useless unified stuff.
Exactly. I was stuck with this useless unified 6-inch touchscreen that nobody wanted. So that went into the trash. Anyway, that is all to say. the AI port is out. It's $199. It's on their website. It's not in stock. Good luck. Maybe with the new tariffs, things will get better.
Yeah, by the time, I figure by the time we record the next podcast, it will be back in stock and probably twice the price.
Yeah, $599.
Yeah. We're making AI ports in America, baby.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple of HomeTech headlines today. So what do you guys say we jump in?
Let's do it.
Oh, what's that? What is that noise?
Ho, 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 ho.
It sounds like Santa is bringing a Christmas miracle for TJ.
Oh my God.
He actually came through and delivered.
Nothing like a late present to get you through January,
I guess the big news is Sonos CEO Patrick Spence has resigned following the disastrous launch of the new app that led to significant customer dissatisfaction, layoffs, and a decline in employee morale. So there's a trio of stories. Patrick Spence basically stepped down. I'm sure he got a
$2 million handout.
Yeah,
on the way
he's got
down,
the golden parachute. Exactly.
He's really hurting there.
Yeah. Tom Conrad, who is a Sonos board member, is going to step in and serve as interim CEO. There's a story that we'll put a link. He has a letter to the employees that I guess The Verge really liked. And guys, you're not going to believe this. He's got a tattoo. He says that in his letter. I thought, okay. Thanks, Tom. Good for you.
Do you know he's got a tattoo of?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I just read this wrong, but I think it's a pair of Sonos Ace headphones.
I hope it's not.
No, that might not be right.
I don't know. Anyway, Tom Conrad, he's a board member. He's got a pedigree. He's got a background at Pandora, Snapchat, and Apple. He's been involved with addressing some of the app problems too. So he sounds like he knows what he's doing. I don't know. It sounds like he's cleaning house, because not only did Patrick Spence step down, they also had two other members. This is all kind of like late breaking. It just came in today. We also had two other people leave. One of them was going to be the CEO of product, the chief commercial officer, Deidre Finlay, plans to leave. And then it said also not an immediate departure. So I don't know. I think there's quite a few people that probably need to leave over this. Not just Patrick Spence. Like I don't want to celebrate people losing their jobs, but like, man, they did hurt the company in this. And I can't imagine investors or the board is very happy with it. And obviously new leadership will come in and hopefully shore up the company. I don't know. They're going to have a long way to go to get things back to where it was.
All right. So supposedly the Sonos Ace tattoo story is true. He has a Sonos Ace tattoo on his left forearm. So I don't know if I like this guy already. But this is what needed to happen, right? I mean, Sonos has been lost for quite some time. And it was only a matter of time before Patrick Spence left. But I don't understand how they even got this far. Like, there's been disaster after disaster that has taken us here. And I just don't see how you recover from this. Sonos has always been a luxury brand. They've always been a product you've paid more money for because it was going to last a long time. It was going to work. It's basically the Lutron of the audio world, right? When you plugged it in, you could go and use it every single day and never have a problem with it. And that kind of has disappeared in the past couple of years with the very lackluster app and the poor performance. And so I just don't see them as a luxury brand anymore. They might be able to bring that back. I'm very skeptical of that at the moment, though, because once you kind of go down this path, it's hard to go back.
That's a good comparison that I hadn't thought about. But yeah, Lutron tends to have always put out rock solid products. And there's a couple of things I can think of that were just kind of like, But for the most part, their stuff works, right? Like it looks good. If you're opinionated, it might not, but like they have options. If you really want to pay a lot of money, they have stuff that looks different. But it works. It feels good to use. Like they don't feel cheap. And yeah, well, you pay for them too. So there's a price point attached to them. You're gonna pay money for them. Yeah, I that's a good comparison. Imagine like what I don't know what Lutron could do to totally like screw up as big as Sonos did in such a way that like I think Sonos messed up because like they updated a single app that really took down their entire product line, right? Like everybody was affected. I don't think Lutron could do that. Maybe they messed up Caseta, but that's not going to touch the raw people, right? That's not going to touch the QS people. Mm-hmm. They're never going to know. So I don't know. It's really interesting.
I think Sonos had a history of doing things that people just didn't agree with too, right? Like, I don't know, was this all under Patrick Spence? But like, I'm thinking of, what did they do when they went from S1 to S2?
Patrick Spence.
Yep.
The recycling program, Patrick Spence.
And even with the headphones, I know there was a lot of excitement around it, but when it finally came out, you were like, oh, I don't want it, and that was under him too. So all I know is I wish I had a job. If my job paid me $2 million when they
fire you, yeah,
I would be doing things like messing up the company too and getting that $2 million. I just cash out. Thank you. I'm gone. I'm good.
Well, the issue too for Sonos at this point is that, like, for a lot of people, there's no reason for Sonos to exist, right? And Sonos has kind of always been a very niche product. Like you would know somebody liked watching TV or they liked audio or something if they knew about Sonos. But the majority of people would never have any idea what Sonos is. And less people have a reason to own Sonos at this point because of the prevalence of smart speakers anymore. You have Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, AirPods and HomePods and everything else in the house at this point. You can get them for super cheap and way cheaper than you can buy Sonos products.
And you could say, are they the same sound quality? No, but who cares that much? Like literally $39.
It's the same people that listen to the cheapest headphones or they listen to the whatever the videos on their phone and stuff. They don't care about audio.
And they don't sound bad though. Like it's not like they sound like $39 or a $99 product, right? They don't sound like a $399, $400 product, but like they don't sound that bad. And they do pretty much exactly what Sonos was doing, plus all the voice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I found, and this is why I'm Sonos, but they had a complete ecosystem to me. So from their sound bars, so my home entertainment system was all Sonos, and that's good. So then I went into getting all the other speakers around my house. It's all Sonos, and that's good, right? And you can even add in the Sonos amps and do your backyard speakers and all these other things. And that's kind of why I went with Sonos, because it was a ecosystem that all worked together. You used their one app when it worked, to do everything. And I also like the fact when they integrated the A lady into it and the Google, assistant into it. I like that. When they came out with their own assistant, I can't even remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Was it Hey Sonos or whatever? I think that was another waste of their
also
time.
Patrick Spence.
Yeah, that was another waste of time. But to me, Sonos now, hopefully under the new leadership or whoever it's going to be, they have a lot of room to grow and improve. And that's the way I'm looking at it now, is maybe they will come out with a set of headphones that does everything we really expected this set of headphones to do. Maybe they will do things like open up the system a little bit so we could put something like, imagine putting your Home Assistant voice control on it. That would be cool, right? If you could do things like that. I don't know what they're thinking there, but these are some of the things that we can at least think they may work towards, maybe.
Outdoor speaker
they will.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Simple stuff like a rack powered, rack amplifier with like two or three of them in there.
Maybe the new leadership will listen to what people actually want and take us in a better direction.
I've been asking for that long enough. I'm not even an integrator anymore.
Well, you know what? If Patrick Spence wasn't doing it for us, you have to get a change, and maybe the change will be for the better, and we will see.
Well, and you bring up a good point. The reason that I think Sonos really is popular and why I really like Sonos, not just because it works well, is because they make a product for basically every scenario, right?
Yeah.
And so I can go into a house that has speakers in the ceiling and they have a home theater and all this stuff, and I can integrate Sonos with almost all of that in some capacity. I can put a sound bar, I can put amplifiers, I can do whatever I want, and that's why Sonos has always been really good. And it's so annoying when people offer whole house audio alternatives, because most of the time they're not actually alternatives. Like, anybody can go out and buy an amplifier and connect a streamer to it, but that's not a Sonos alternative. That's literally an amplifier. And so to be a Sonos competitor and alternative, you really do need the sound bars and the surround sound and the subwoofers and the amplifiers and stuff, because you need all of that in a house. Not every house is going to have all those things, but everybody that wants audio is going to have access to those things at some point. And so that's why Sonos has always been really good at what they do.
And when I've seen alternatives, like true alternatives to Sonos that offered like the package like that, their price point was a lot higher. Right. So Sonos, I know it's still a high price point, but the other stuff is a lot more expensive. And Sonos is something I can afford,
right.
Still.
Well, and you look at I have a Vessel speaker. We had Vessel on months ago and talked to Don over there. And I have a Vessel speaker right now. I love it. It sounds great. It looks awesome and all that good stuff. But they only have like 5 speakers. And it's, you can't really compete with a Sonos competitor at that point when you only have that many speakers, because you need more options. It's kind of like Ring, a lot of people go with Ring cameras because you can buy a camera for literally any situation. They're not the best cameras. They're really not that good. But if you need a floodlight or you need a spotlight or you need a doorbell, they have you. So, what do I get for winning? The bet.
Oh, yeah, I guess we buried the lead. Turns out TJ won the bet there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what are you going to get you?
Dang, I said January 13th too, didn't I? I didn't realize how close I actually got it.
When did the news break?
Or Monday, I think.
Oh, I got it down to the day.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, man.
That is hilarious.
We need to send TJ somewhere.
I didn't even realize that. Man.
Well, I did look at the map, TJ, and since, Guernsey is so far away, there's actually a Guernsey, Ohio. You can go there.
Oh, where's it at, Seth?
It's driving. You can drive to it. I know you can.
I've driven places before.
Yeah.
Guernsey County, Ohio. Let's see. How far away is it? Is there anything there? And it's only an hour and a half away. So it looks like I'm going to Guernsey.
All right. I got something special to share, though.
Oh.
While you're driving there, you can put a special song that I made for you on the radio. You guys ready? This is a world premiere.
You made a song, huh?
Yeah, I made a song.
Man.
Here we go. You guys ready?
It. DJ Seth.
You have so much free time. Of course, it's a country song.
In the land of speakers, Sonos reigns supreme, with Patrick Spence steering the dream. But one dark day, a bug came through, a brand new app, and the users booed. Oh, Patrick Spence, the board said no, we can't let this broken app steal the show. While the world hit delete and frustration was met, TJ laughed loud, for he'd won the bet.
What is this?
There you guys go. The Ballad of Patrick, just for you, TJ.
Oh my! We need to put this on Spotify. Start earning royalties.
#1 hit. TJ,
is this the first Sonos song?
This got to be on the Sonos playlist.
I'm gonna put it on Spotify.
Yeah, we need royalties from this right now.
That's too funny. Yeah, it turns out AI is really good at.
That's a good country song.
Yeah. I also made a pop one.
Oh, let's hear that one.
Hold on, give me a second.
Hey, this is the Sonos show, so you might as well just put it in now.
Exactly. Let's see.
That's all the news we have this week.
Oh no! All right, I haven't heard this one yet, but it's the same lyrics, but just in pop, because AI can do anything, guys.
Man, I like it.
In the land of speakers, Sonos reigns supreme, with Patrick Spence steering the dream. But one dark day, a bug came through, a brand new app, and the users booed. Oh, Patrick Spence, the board said no, we can't let this broken app steal the show. While the world hit delete and frustration was met, TJ laughed loud, for he'd won the bet. The app was meant to be sleek and smart, a symphony crafted from the tech world's heart. But crashes, glitches, the UX was dire, and soon enough Patrick faced the fire. Oh, Patrick Spence, the board said no, we can't let this broken app steal the show. While the users complained and investors upset, TJ cashed in on his clever bet. The lessons we learn, they come at a cost. In the world of tech, one glitch and you're lost. Now Sonos must rise from this painful fall to reclaim the trust of music lovers all. Oh, Patrick Spence stood for and said no. We can't let this broken app steal the show. As the dust settles down, we won't forget the day TJ stood proud, winning his bet. Now the speakers still play, the music rolls on, but Patrick Spence's era is gone. The moral is clear, don't gamble too much, and always beta test before you touch.
There you go. There you go. The world premiere.
That dropped the mic.
Man,
right there. Like, that's it. We're good. We're good.
That was great.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't Taylor Swift this and release all these versions on Spotify, I don't know what we're doing with our life.
There you guys go.
Oh man.
I actually have. I'll just go ahead and put the lyrics on the website. They're all pretty good, and I'll just put them on the website with links to our song.
All right, if somebody's listening to our podcast, I need an AI program that just turns our podcast into AI songs.
The whole podcast.
The whole
thing.
podcast.
Yeah.
And it just splits it up into different songs. The whole podcast episode is just an album.
Yeah, we could work on that one. Let's see.
I like it.
There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. Where there's a will, there's a way to
Come on, AI.
I have found out. Yeah, I found there's a way to do these things. So I only have 6 more free songs to do, though.
Oh, no.
Then I gotta
choose wisely.
I gotta make a new account. All right. Well, there we go. Fun with AI. Patrick Spence, he gets his golden parachute and works for Sonos for the next few months, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. He gets $2 million handout for taking the company, and then he basically has to stay on for $7,000 a month until like June.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, how terrible.
It does suck. I mean,
gotta slum it.
Not like you didn't see it coming, but whatever. All right. Well, that's that. That's the Sonos show tonight. All the links and topic we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/512. All right. Nothing in the mailbag this week, but we do have a really fun picture of the week. I ran across a TikTok video, and I'm kind of stuttering on this. Like, I know it's from TikTok, but I'm like, if we're gonna put that in our show notes, will you be able to get to it on Monday? I don't know. We're gonna find out. The Supreme Court may save TikTok tomorrow. Who knows? The video on TikTok was somebody riding a boat down a canal behind these houses in Miami. And you kind of look through the window on this house and something's peculiar in there. It's literally like an entire wall of probably a 2.5 story wall. It's huge. That is an entire TV screen. And I just thought of our TV Too High conversations. And I was like, this is insane. Turns out it's the Memphis Grizzlies owner, Robert Pera, which is also the principal behind Unify or Ubiquity.
Oh, that's where that name is familiar.
Yeah. He turned half of his house, or more than half of his house, into a giant basketball arena. And there's a Jumbotron that, quotes, is blazing 24 hours a day. So he's got a massive video. You guys have to see this video. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, this is a crazy screen. I can't even imagine like looking at that though.
Yeah.
I feel like that would just hurt.
You got to look up around.
Did you see that? I don't know. Which section of the screen?
I don't know. I guess people that are living near him aren't very happy with it. So
when I looked at it, I'm thinking you could be out on your boat watching the screen. Like, you basically can see that screen from anywhere. You could be at the game watching the game on that screen. It's way too bright.
Well, this article, you can turn down the brightness on them. This article here from the Daily Mail, the Mail Online, is it says it's a 2-story high, 40-foot wide screen. So that's That's pretty big.
Yeah, but does it fold up and close up into the ground?
No.
Yeah, no. Well,
sad. Get your money back.
Must not be worth that much then.
Yeah, exactly.
It explains the Ubiquity booth at CEDIA this year, though. Because it had a giant 40-foot wide screen as well.
Big screens everywhere.
Big screens, yeah. Just do it. That's too good. Yeah, there's pictures in this story of it being the house under construction and workers working around outside doing landscape stuff, and like there's a giant cloud skyline. Oh, it's the Apple screensaver is what it is. That's that's too good. It's the fly through New York City with the nice blue sky and everything. There's just if you're the integrator and you've done this house, please give us a call. We want to talk to you. Sounds fun. Maybe get a tour of the house. Probably not.
I'll fly down for a tour.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a massive house, but it's a big house. And he's added a basketball court onto it. So there you go. It doesn't look like much of a house. There's a pool that's as big as the house, and then there's the basketball area. So I don't know. Maybe it just makes the rest of the house look small. I don't know. I will never be able to live here. So.
I don't know, Seth. You keep creating AI songs. You might be rich before you know it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
AI technology songs.
Too good. All right. Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, pics of giant TVs, send them on over. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm. You can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out that online form. All right. The segment I think everybody's been waiting for, our project updates. Well, first off, I think we talked about this months ago, but we got to talk about home assistant stuff. There's been home assistant updates, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure there's really good stuff in them, but the biggest update I have for home assistant was I heard Gavin on another podcast. I think we knew this like 3 months ago when you guys recorded it, but you were on the home assistant podcast. That was really cool.
Yeah, it finally got released this week after they got back from CES. But yeah, no, it was a good time. Just go to the Home Assistant podcast. I don't know if they're the official podcast or not.
I couldn't work that out.
They are. I'm pretty sure they are because they're sponsored by like Nabu Casa and everything.
Okay. So no, they're great guys over there. And yeah, we sat down. We basically talked about what got me into home automation, eventually into home assistant, and my journey and where it all started. So yep, give it a listen.
It was a good podcast. I listened to it today while I was working. So did a good job. You even said that I was coming up to work for you or something. I'm not really sure.
That's
I heard
crazy.
some kind of slide in there.
I said a lot of things thinking that you wouldn't actually listen.
Oh, we did.
But you actually, oh boy. Well,
tell me I'm going to run power and stuff. I'm like, I don't run power.
You could skip this podcast, Seth. You don't need to listen to it.
No, it was a good episode though. I think everybody should go listen to it. We'll put it in the show notes because it was a nice episode, and it gave me a new podcast to listen to as well because I actually did not know that podcast existed until you went on there. So
yeah, me either.
Yeah,
they gained one listener because of you.
I think it was over a year in the making. Like when we first touched base, it was probably over a year ago. And they finally got back to me. That's where I am in the chain. With those guys.
You're just that popular.
Yeah, not enough. So I'll keep trying.
There's Home Assistant podcasts, there's Home Assistant updates, and I guess since we last spoke, like it's been a while, they finally launched all the voice stuff, and people started getting their little voice box things in, and yeah, that's all happening. I have one here. I hooked it up, and it can say, "Hey Jarvis," and it does stuff, but I don't.
What?
It doesn't really.
How'd you get one? I didn't even get one. I ordered.
I've got 3 of them, Gavin. I can send you one.
You got 3 of them? This guy.
Yeah, and this guy doesn't even tell me. This guy touches Home Assistants once a month, probably. And
it's
you
true.
Wouldn't even
it's
tell
true.
me he got it.
That's messed up.
I know. I don't feel.
What the heck?
I really understand how the boss treats his employees at this company.
Well, I wanted to surprise you. It doesn't really work. I'm gonna have to trade in some what Gavin as a service tokens or something so I can. I don't
know now. After all this, I don't know.
I was gonna say,
I've helped a number of people in our Slack forum this week. I don't know if you after finding out
betrayal.
Well, I wanted to see if I could do it myself, and I mean I can. I figured it would be more straightforward, and I honestly, outside of connecting it into Home Assistant and updating it once. I haven't really done much with it.
If people could do this by themselves, gas wouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
It's keeping, technology like this is keeping me in business, and that's good. I'm still waiting on mine to get delivered. I'll probably get it in February or March, I figure, but we'll see. And I've seen this is just what I've seen online. I've seen certain people praise it like crazy. And those are the usual people. And then you see the honest reviews eventually come through and the difficulties they've had with it. And you got to remember, this is a preview edition.
Yeah, no.
It's not all the bells and whistles, and they're still working through bugs and getting stuff. So, planning to replace every one in your house with one of these at this point, I think is a little too early. You have to give it some time to develop. I mean, it still can't do everything like the Amazon thing can and stuff like that. But it's got good potential.
And it clearly didn't have a research budget to build, microphones and stuff. Like it's slow. You say the wake word and it kind of thinks about it. I'm kind of used to the Siri thing where you just kind of, you can just talk and it starts picking it. Like this thing, wake word, wait, talk, wait for a response because it has to go off and think about it. So,
and our friend Morton in the Slack channel there, when he got it, he was saying the same thing. It was slow at first, and he did a few back end upgrades. I think getting the N100 compute, whatever it is, right, to handle all that stuff, sped things up for him. So
I have done nothing. I'm running it stock, and I don't even think it knows how to do anything.
You may have to get more hardware. I just threw a new T4 video card into my server to handle all the AI stuff, and I think that will be a good use when I eventually get the speaker. It can handle all the AI stuff for the speaker, so I will see when I eventually get one, because Seth got it before me and didn't tell me and doesn't even want to order me one.
I got you one, Gavin. It's right here. You want me to? I'll send it to you. Yeah. Your mail service has to work first, and then I think.
Well, no, we're back in business. But do you think you can get it before the 20th or after the 20th?
It's gotta get mailed.
Something happening on the 20th that may affect this shipment.
I'll send it out. I'll put it in like a first class thing and send it out tomorrow. There you go.
No, you'll be part of the U.S. You'll be fine.
Yeah. As soon as you're annexed, it'll be all right. Problems. Your governor will just sign it over, and that'd be great.
Oh, that's awesome. So your thoughts about it? Just it's slow. It's not. What do you say?
It seems like it's I like the fact that you can hook stuff up to it. Like you can go in here. I haven't done any of this. Like you can change out the services that are in this Buffalo thing. This little Buffalo guy that I don't know what he does. It's a Wyoming protocol. I don't know what it is.
You see, if I got this first, I wouldn't be saying things like this little Buffalo guy or change out or I haven't done anything with this yet. I would have said, I was giving you breakdown with technical terms. This is why it's not fair. It's
not a good experience for an end user. I can tell you that. Like I put this in and now there's a buffalo living in my home and I don't know why there's a buffalo there.
Buffalo.
There's a piper. I don't know why there's a piper there now, and and somebody whispering to you.
See, it's hard working with you end users sometimes. I know what you're talking about now.
I have to be the end user advocate here, and yeah. But
it's not made for an end user like you.
No, I would say hold off on it for sure. If you're thinking of doing this, there's going to be some setup involved to get it right, because I don't think it works straight out of the box. But I have been kind of like tinkering around with Home Assistant and doing more stuff and cleaning things up and turning things on that I haven't ever, like the Apple. I made the mistake of turning the Apple HomeKit thing on, and like now all the 1,000 entities from that weather station are in.
Oh, whoops. Yeah.
Got a bunch of switches in the default room now. Great. So go delete those. Spend half the day deleting those. But there's a lot that you have to do to get it set up. And I think they did make a nice little wizard out of it for the setup. So that like getting it installed into the system was, I think, flawless. Like that was really good. But I think that's always been Home Assistant's, like the install and setup process for devices. I think that they've always excelled at that. It's what you do after that. I think they have a lot of work to do. So anyway, I'm curious. I'll tinker around with it more. I can say, hey, Jarvis, what time is it?
9:38 p.m.
There you go.
That wasn't too bad.
You got the time right.
No, that was kind of slow. We need to speed you up. We need to get you a video card to do AI processing and stuff in your server.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, maybe. I did discover that my Home Assistant was out of memory. So, whoops. There was
sure, that was not a good surprise.
There was a lot of backups. You remember there a few months back, Gavin, and you're like, hey, you should make an automatic backup. Well, I did, but there's not an automatic delete the old backups. Yeah.
So good news, Seth.
Yeah.
In the latest version of Home Assistant, they added a new automated backup system that also cleans itself up. So you can tell it to, you know, and the nice part about it is actually you can have it back up by default to the Home Assistant cloud. They actually give you free space to back it up there, which is really nice if you're already a Nabucasa subscriber. Really nice of them. It doesn't cost you more or anything. It's just added. But if you want it local, you can set it up to back up local. So there you go. You look into doing that, you know, and when they announced this feature, by default, the backups are all encrypted. And I didn't realize that this would cause as much problems as it did, but it caused some heated debates in their Discord channel. People were really mad about the backups being encrypted even when they're local. Like they could understand if they're encrypted when they're uploaded to an online service, but then they wanted the option. And I think Nabucasa didn't add the option. I wouldn't be surprised if they add the option later on to not encrypt the backups, you know, if you want to. All that being said, people, it's their backup that they just introduced. Yes, it encrypts by default, but if you don't want an encrypted backup, you could still back up how you were doing it before. You know, using action in a script to generate a backup at whatever time you want, whenever you want, to whatever server you want, and it won't be encrypted. So, you know, like instead of getting all violent about it, you know, just do it the way you want to do it. You have options,
man.
Right? So it was a heated debate. Like I just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
It's first world problems.
There were some comments, and I was just like, damn, he said that, you know. But yeah, so there you go. It will auto clean up too, Seth. Just make sure you save your backup keys though.
I clicked on, I found it where it was in the settings there. And that's the first thing that popped up, and it says, save this and download this emergency recovery thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that now. And then the next thing that you said was, you can do it like we're always doing it. And you know what? I'm just going to do that.
Exactly.
Why change it?
I have mine just run a backup every day, and every few months I go in there and I delete all the old backups, and I'm good, right?
I was just saying, this like 3 years of backups at this point, and I had to go and like just select all.
You'll never run out again.
Yeah, I just delete everything but the top one. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Every day I'm backing up. I don't know why. I don't have anything here to back up.
I back up every day, but because, you know, there's a day when I'll just screw up something. I've only had to restore it maybe once or twice. And that was mainly because an add-on updated and broke things so bad I had to go back. But it was good to have the backup. So if you're not backing up, it doesn't matter if you use the built-in system or the non-built-in system, backup. Turn something on at least.
Something on, yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea. Good idea. And if you do turn on the other one, download that encryption key. You probably want to keep that. So.
Yeah, keep that kid.
I do have some projects. You guys want to hear my projects? I actually did stuff.
Did you finish them?
How many projects?
I did finish things. Yeah. I mean, okay. It was I think we talked about me setting up WLED Christmas lights on previous shows. So technically did finish all of those. And I took them down. Mostly.
Aww.
So that project I would consider done. It was a success. And I have all sorts of new little things to use next year for the Christmas lights and that kind of thing. So I'm excited. I got little ones with little ESP32s with little hats on top that do Ethernet and PoE options and power supplies and all sorts of fun stuff. So I had a lot of fun with that. And my biggest thing is now I've been putting them in these like little boxes outside with the waterproof boxes things, and you got to get like power supplies in there. You've got to get all sorts of like cables into it, but they also have to stay dry. And then antennas coming out too. I bought some like waterproof antennas that are supposed to sit on top. So like I've got all sorts of like little accessories and things to go on this junk next year. Hopefully make it better. And I only have one box I'm kind of proud of that I put together. But yeah, I found this Wi-Fi antenna. It's like a little flat cell phone looking antenna and stick it on the box. If the antennas are inside the box, they work okay. And then the box will jiggle around and that antenna will flop behind like something metal. Like a power supply, and it doesn't there's no Wi-Fi anymore, which, either the Ethernet thing or the Wi-Fi antenna thing will solve that in the future. So excited about that. I don't think I mentioned this, but I did a complete reset on my Sonos system after I griped about it, and it all works now. I put it all back together. I had to go to a friend's house and do the same thing and completely reset. And the problem is, I put a picture in the back channel. TJ, do you see that? Mm-hmm. And I will entitle that picture, Sonos Hates Integrators, because they made these nice amps, and you can get these nice rack shelves from Mid-Atlantic, and they're like laser cut to fit 4 amplifiers in it. And I put all that in there years ago. But the problem is, when you reset everything,
now you have to service it.
Yeah. You got to get to little numbers.
Yeah, whoever decided the number thing needs to be shot. Hopefully that person got fired, because that was a stupid idea.
They said, the instructions said, look at the numbers. They're located above the speaker outputs, right? The speaker banana plugs. Or, it's the word said or on the bottom. Guess where mine were?
Yours is on the bottom, because that was the first generation.
Yep.
Let's blame Patrick Spence.
Yeah, well, it definitely was him. It was his product people did it. Anyway, at least they fixed that. But yeah, I had to pull the entire rack out, undo all the wire management, not the entire rack, the rack shelf, and then pull them all out. And I guess what I did, I labeled them. So if I ever have to do it again, they're labeled on the back in the correct spot above the speaker thing with these nice white labels. So yeah. I put in a bunch of cameras at the house. I put a new driveway camera and a front yard camera in, and I've been tinkering around with the Frigate thing, which involves me writing YAML, which I hate to do. So I made ChatGPT do it. Ooh. And I told ChatGPT where my IP address was and what the passwords were, and it just made me a Frigate thing, and I did that way. So I didn't really have to touch the YAML other than figuring out how to copy it over into the container, which I eventually did. And got that up and kind of going, but it was working last night when I was tinkering with it. And then now this morning, it's got no cameras. It stopped working sometime in the morning. No idea why.
Do you have a GPU dedicated to it?
I do, but there's something it doesn't like. Now that GPU, the one I have is the M60, Tesla M60, and I don't think it likes certain types of encoding. And I'm sending it H.264, but it's still throwing FFmpeg errors. And the problem is like the cameras are different series. So I'm not sure like it likes one of them. It doesn't like all of them. I don't know what settings to put on for the camera. So it's like a big experiment thing. And at some point I had different cameras putting video into it, and I was able to set up the motion detect and all that. And then I messed with the camera video resolution again and screwed it all up. So,
for the price of a Home Assistant voice assistant, you can get some help here if you really want. I've played with Frigate a bit.
It's going out first class tomorrow. I'll send it in our U.S. Postal Service.
I'll probably get it. I'll probably get the one I ordered before that one.
Yeah, this will be in November. It'll show up. What the heck? I did some actual real work on my house network too. I have an access point here in the garage, and an access point kind of like in the back side of the house that kind of, I don't know, services most of the inside of the house when you're not connected to the one here in the garage. But my house is kind of like an L shape, I guess, and the garage is in the crook of the L, like in the corner, right? And so like if that leaves like the entire side that way, like the north side, the small part of the L, I guess, without an access point, right? That happens to be where the what do they call it? The master bathroom or the library is. And yeah, I don't know. It was always causing problems. So I drug a little access point, little Ruckus. I had a Ruckus R550. Pop that up like above the door frame. It fit nice little cozy thing in there. And man, what a difference that makes. You just have like perfect, even over in the living room, kind of like sitting in the couch. I'm sure I'm connected. I know I'm connected to it. Like everything just kind of lit up and started working better. So really happy with that. And I'd run the wire years ago, just never had poked it out of the wall. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a mess. I got to get up in I got to open the hatch for something I was dealing with around the holiday time, and then saw the wire sitting there. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to spend the extra 15 minutes drilling a hole. So I did, and I got better Wi-Fi because of it. And I installed only one dimmer Zeus thing from my friend TJ. He sent 2 of them to me. And I thought I could use 2 of them. And I pulled one of the wall switch things down and realized that I had not run, 4-wire for the fan and the switch?
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. And I retroed that in. Pain. Yeah. So it went back to being, I just made it a regular old switch. And I ordered some Wiz light bulbs. They have some candelabra bulbs that can go into those fan fixtures and maybe give me a little bit better light in there. I ordered at the same time, the bathroom, one of the lights went out in the bathroom. 3 lights, like pendant lights in the bathroom that sit over the vanity, and that's kind of like the vanity lights. And one of them went out, and my wife was like, "It's kind of dark in here. Can you order another light?" I'm like, "You know what? I can." So I ordered like 3 Wiz A19 bulbs to go in there as well, and they're really nice because they're like 90 plus CRI. They like color match and everything. So popped them in, and then here's the cool thing. I've been playing around with the Chow Mein Home Assistant driver over there in Control 4. So I've got Control 4 keypads on the wall. I had to take out the dimmer that was running those lights. I just put a switch in, just a regular toggle switch, because I just have to like leave it on, right? Like those Wiz light bulbs, they can turn on and off with an API. But if I turn them off with a light switch, it's in another room. But I have a keypad in the bathroom that I can program to turn off and on the Wiz lights. So I grouped them together in Home Assistant and glued it all together with the Control 4 driver. I press a button in the bathroom, lights turn on, turn off, super bright. I think they're brighter than what was in there before. She's out of town now, so when she gets back, we'll see if she approves. I'm not sure. It's going to be very bright, but at least I can probably turn that down too. And then I think the final thing I've done. I updated iguanasfalling.com to account for wind chill. And and I added AI or sometime around CES, because I had to add AI. I mean, do you even have a website that's doesn't have AI anymore? I don't know. All it is a little banner that says now with AI. So it has that. And then I wasn't tracking wind chill before. What I did was I opened this up and put this project into ChatGPT basically and said, "Hey, check this out. Do you see any ways I can improve the formula here?" And Chad was like, "Yeah, this looks great, but I don't think you're accounting for wind chill, and you're a little conservative on like what temperature you're going to trigger stuff at." I was at 50 degrees, and I guess 40 degrees is where iguanas start falling out of the trees. So we worked a little bit, me and Chad, on improving the algorithm here, and it works. It's way better now, and I've got little like high risk warnings, like different colors that pop up on little banners and stuff like that. And right now, I mean, I'm high risk here in Florida, so like we could have iguanas falling out of the tree. You just don't know that if it's more than a couple hours, these iguanas, they just start falling out. So there you go.
I'll be high risk for another few months, but it's good to know.
No, iguanas are definitely not going to invade either one of us, Gavin. They will not take over.
They probably won't.
You never know. Like, what if there's like an iguana shipment going over Canada towards Greenland from the U.S., because they, took over Greenland. They may drop them out of a plane. They could be falling, like you never know.
That's what happened here. I mean, well, not quite. Like there was a pet store that was breeding a bunch of iguanas, and they all just kind of it burned down or something. All the iguanas escaped, and the pythons too. I think it was the same pet store.
Okay, the iguanas I can deal with, but those pythons. Oh boy.
Yeah, that happened. But yeah, I check it out if you haven't gone to iguanasfalling.com in a while. It's new and improved.
I like how you added the section on how we track falling iguanas.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's very important because before there was like no information. It was basically just the three little boxes, the little iguana frozen in the ice cube, and that was it. But now I like that it gives you some information, so that way nobody thinks that we're BSing them.
We're just making it up. Right. Yeah. Why would we do that?
I mean, it's got AI, guys. We can't make anything
exactly. Up. It's bulletproof now,
and it's 100% ad free.
That's right. How many websites on the web is ad free?
I never even thought about that, Gavin, but now I'm going to have to do some LG ads over the top of this thing.
And a little CAPTCHA to get in there.
So every time you actually look at the screen, it just shows an ad.
Hopefully nobody from Europe's visiting this, because we'd have to accept cookies on it too.
Oh, the cookie
Can you get eye tracking on this, Seth? I want to be able to tell where people's eyes are looking.
They're looking right at that adorable iguana.
Not their mouths, frozen eyes.
It's amazing.
It's a good website. Good website.
Yeah, that's my favorite. And I've done a couple of other things. I was showing you guys a theater designer software thing that I was putting together, and it was a little fun project. I'm going to keep plugging away at it. I showed it to Owen. He's like, it should do all this other cool stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're right, Owen. But look, it makes a room out of things and dimensions and put speakers where they should be.
After the show, I have a test we're going to run it through. So I got some information right now, and I want to see when it kicks out. So
it's probably going to break.
It doesn't matter.
So since you're in a designing craze, I need you to help me design a website.
I'm not doing websites.
I mean, you have AI websites though. I need that.
Oh yeah. You could make AI do it. That sounds fun. Is it for your company?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Price just went up.
It's a legitimate commercial interest. All right. Yeah.
I'll help you out for the exposure.
Oh yeah, do it for the credits.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right. That's it. I did one other thing.
You got a lot of projects done.
Yeah, I got my Shelly alert light. I think we talked about this. Maybe not. I don't know. I tied it into Home Assistant, so I have an alert light, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But
whenever your kid gets out of bed, it should flash. Obviously.
Yeah, I think I have to bring in the little sensor into it's a Matter sensor, right? So I think I've got to take it out of Apple and put it into Home Assistant, or I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Because I think I have to do the same thing with the Aqara stuff, the FP2 that's in our room too. So kind of want to get the same warning triggered, and yeah. But this is working great. It at least works right here on my Stream Deck, and I can just push a button, it turns on and off. So that's great.
That's pretty sweet.
Fun stuff. Between writing country songs and making theater website things.
I want a rap song version. While TJ goes through his projects, make a rap version. All right.
Yeah, I need a rap version.
Yeah.
So all right. So my projects, I'm actually surprised. I think Seth got more projects done than I did, but we'll find out. So actually, since we haven't really talked about it, but last month I went to San Francisco. So
nice.
Nicole and I's birthday is December 18th, and then our wedding anniversary is December 19th. And so we like to just occasionally we'll go on a trip, we might go to Florida, we might do this, we might do that. Our plan actually this year was to go to Canada, but TJ messed up and didn't realize that TJ's passport expired.
That was
last year.
Reason. Oh.
Yeah. So I looked at my passport in November and I was like, I should probably look at this and see when it expires, like November 28th. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, you expired like a year ago. That makes sense. And so like I was like, man, I could pay like the rush fee, I can do it online and stuff, but it was still like it could take like 2 to 3 weeks to get it, and I was like, by that time it's gonna push it too close. And so I was looking somewhere else to take a vacation to, and we came across cheap flights to San Francisco, and so we spent December 18th and we flew back on Christmas. But we spent the entire time in San Francisco. Basically, our hotel was right outside Chinatown, so that was really fun. Got to see all the normal touristy things. One of the cooler things I got to do, though, guys, is I went into a driverless car. They have Waymo out there,
yeah.
And that was like one of the first things I wanted to try when I got there, because I was like, this is going to be awesome. And I got to tell you, it was pretty awesome. Not having to like interact with somebody in the car is great, because like, especially when I've been at the airport all day and stuff, the last thing I really want to do is interact with people. And it was nice to not have to interact with the driver or anything. And the price basically came out to the same cost as if you were going to like tip the Lyft and Uber driver. So relatively the same cost. And they were Jaguars too. Really nice cars. Nice.
How did the car find you at the airport?
Well, so it doesn't go to the airport. So I had to get a lift from the airport to the hotel. But they can drive like all around San Francisco after that. But okay. I think they're just now opening up the airport now.
Nice.
But yeah, that was fun. I went out there. We went to, Golden Gate Bridge. We saw Fisherman's Wharf. Chinatown, Japantown, all that stuff. So it was really fun. And it's funny because everybody's like, oh, it's so cold. It's so cold. You're going to have to bring, winter clothes and stuff like that. It was basically the same temperature as it was here. So it really wasn't that much different than what we were used to, which was nice.
I saw the videos of the driverless car that you posted, and I don't know if I'm there yet, but I definitely would try it.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. Look, I don't mind driving. I drive all over. I have a big work van that I drive all over the city and stuff like that. But if somebody told me that I could buy a driverless car, even if it had a subscription, because I assume it would have to, I would heavily consider it. If it was fully like autonomous, like I could sit in the back and not have to worry about the car.
I would absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. I do not.
Well, especially you down in Florida, right?
Yeah. I mean, geez. I never want to drive again. I'd rather not have I don't want anybody else to drive either. That's kind of the biggest thing, right?
That's my thing, right? Is because most people just suck at driving.
Yes.
And it's and there's so many people out there that are like, I would never trust a computer to drive. And I'm like, I would 100% trust a computer to drive because you should see who's driving out here.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'll trust an algorithm. I don't know if I'll trust Chad, but I'll trust an algorithm. And then, when I got back, I decided I need some kind of project to work on here because Seth was showing me up. And so I've started working on the den, our 3 seasons room. When we bought the house, one of the appealing things was this 3 seasons room that we have. It's basically an enclosed porch, basically. I don't know how else you would describe it. It's built on a slab foundation. It's got 7 windows in it, a lot of natural light into it. The problem is it's not really temperature controlled, and whoever built it kind of did a shoddy job. And so it's got cheap wood paneling on the walls. It's got, vinyl siding for ceilings. And it's just it gets crazy, temperature wise there. It's basically 20-degree difference than what's outside. And so, this morning when it was 1 degree outside, it was 19 degrees inside the den. And so, I understand that I'm never going to get it fully temperature controlled. It's never going to be a bedroom or anything like that. But I just really hated looking at it because it just has so much potential, guys. And it's got this cheap wood paneling everywhere and this vinyl siding. And so when I got back, I was like, you know what? I need a project. And so I just started tearing it all apart. And so I started with the ceiling. I ripped all the ceiling down. And one of the appealing things of redoing the den, minus making it look nicer, is redoing the electrical in it. And right now, there's no lights. When we got the house, there was a ceiling fan in the middle of it. And then there was a single light on the wall that shares with the house. And that's how you could tell at one point it was literally just a porch in the backyard and somebody enclosed it because the only light was on the back door for a backdoor light. And so one of the things I've done is I've installed 4 recessed Philips Hue lights into the ceiling. They're controlled with Innovelli Blue Switch or Innovelli Blue Switch. And so now all of my lights in the house are Philips Hue. And so this is the last room that didn't have any kind of lighting control in it. I was using just some LED strips along the door just to give us some light because we literally had nothing. But now I actually have 4 6-inch Philips Hue recessed lights, and they're part of the adaptive lighting system. So just like the rest of the house, they turn on and off with motion. They automatically adjust the color, temperature, and brightness throughout the day. And all that normal stuff that the rest of the house does. So that part is nice. I can actually go out there and use it now. But when the father-in-law was here this past weekend, I was looking for a project to do with him, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and just tear out the walls now. Why? We might as well just keep moving. The ceiling's done. I got to get it spray foamed and everything. But the walls, we can go ahead and start ripping those apart. And so we started ripping the walls apart. Got all the wood paneling out. We got all the insulation out. Put new insulation in. We chose rock wool insulation. Had to do the vapor barrier. So we got the 2 walls done. And we started ripping into the 3rd wall. And I was like, why is this insulation wet? And so I removed the rest of the insulation. Yeah. And I just see wood rotting out basically. And it's on the side that faces our trash cans and the double gate that we have, and I guess the driveway. And so that whole bottom section of the wall is rotted out at this point. And so I have to take the siding off from the other side and basically replace all of the wood on that side. So that part kind of sucks, but I'm kind of, using it as a silver lining because it's like, well, at least I found the water damage before it got much worse. Because like right now, it doesn't look like it rotted out like the bottom plate of the wall and everything like that. It looks like it's just the plywood. But now I have to figure out where the water is coming from. Because on that section of the house, it's a flat roof. And so like I might have to put a gutter or something on that side where it's getting water. And you can clearly see where like water is pulling up on the slab there. And so unfortunately, I got to figure that part out. Before I can finish the rest of the den. So now my den looks like a scene out of Dexter. It's just plastic walls everywhere, and just stuff everywhere. So I guess I'm waiting for the snow to melt basically, so I can continue that project because I don't want to work out in the snow.
At least you found that though,
Yeah, that's how I'm treating it, because it's like, well, if I were to wait another 2 or 3 years, that whole side would probably be gone, and then I'd be in worse shape. So it sucks, but it could always be worse.
That's a big project.
Yeah, definitely.
But it'll be nice when it's done. And then a friend of the show, Jimmy, sent me some SwitchBot blind or SwitchBot curtain bots. I don't know what they're called. These are the Gen 1s, though, as from what I can tell. They're pretty nice to have. I have them connected to Home Assistant via Bluetooth. Little slow to respond, but that's probably because my Bluetooth. I don't know where that's even at. Gavin's shaking his head, so it's just Bluetooth in general.
They're just slower because I have those. I have the Gen 2 actually, I think it is, and I have the Aquara ones, which are Zigbee, and that's the one thing that drives me nuts about them. Even with the hub, or through Home Assistant,
they're slow.
You press a button and it just takes some time for them to kick in. Where
sometimes it takes like a minute or two.
It's not that bad.
And I'm sure I'm just being impatient because I'm a millennial. But
but the Zigbee ones from Aquara, they work like as soon as I press the button, they open and close. So.
But yeah, the SwitchBot ones work. I haven't had any problems with them. They are so freaking loud, though. Like, I could never have this in like a bedroom or anything like that. And the only time I use them is I don't have like any automation set up with them. It's really just lazy, so I don't have to get up off the couch to open my curtains. But like, I could only use them in like the middle of the day because there's like, even if I used them like in the morning before Nicole was up, I feel like they would wake her up.
Yeah, I have like a lot of my windows are automated, but they don't actually open up while we're still sleeping. I don't have them automatic. I have a little routine that when we get up and when we're ready, we could say good morning, and it would then open up all our blinds and stuff. Because in the end, when they're all going, it is loud, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you got that Lutron money,
I'm sure it still makes some noise.
Nah, but it's silent.
Silent.
But yeah, that was pretty nice. But you know what is not loud is my new keyboard. Nicole got me a new keyboard for Christmas. I'm just kidding. It's loud. You can hear it.
It's a fancy loud keyboard.
It's pretty nice. It's got like a little volume control thing on it. It's from Keychron. It's a Keychron V6. It's got the hot swappable switches. It's a full-size keyboard. The reason I wanted it, though, is because my old keyboard is pretty nice, but I really like having this volume control knob on the keyboard. It's such a silly thing. But, it's just nice. I can just, right now, if I didn't want to hear Seth, I can just go ahead and mute it. Oh, I muted him. I just pressed the button there, and that was it. It's kind of like having a Steam Deck in your keyboard, but it works. So that's pretty nice. Or Stream Deck, that's what it is. But I'm still waiting on my my replacement switches from AliExpress. I had to order switches from China, and so those are coming. So you're gonna hear the loud clacky keyboard right now, but maybe in a week or two it'll be a little quieter.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. That's why I got it, because you guys always complain. I can never really think of what I want for Christmas, and for this year I got you guys the gift of a quieter keyboard.
Well, that's quieter.
You appreciate it.
Like I every time you're typing on it, I just think, oh man, Seth's gonna have to edit this out.
He's playing on drumsticks, like
and every time you type on it, you'll smile, but it sounds like somebody that's angrily typing up a bad email. You're banging on your keyboard, but you're just typing away.
It's like when Germans talk to you. You always think they're yelling at you, but they're really just saying hi.
Yep.
Yeah, same way. I type really fast. I haven't done a speed, like one of those word typing tests in forever. But last time I did one, it was over 120 words per minute.
Yeah, so I was up there too.
I can just type quickly.
Slow down.
That's what happens when you spend time on the deep net.
The dark net.
Yeah, you gotta go to the deep net. It's deeper than the dark net.
Yeah. I can swipe like this now pretty good. TikTok.
You're one of those generations.
We already moved to Red Note, so.
Oh yeah, I hear that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's all my projects. What do you got going on, Kevin?
As usual, I got more projects than everybody. Yeah.
You got so many projects.
I tried.
A for effort, Last time we talked projects, I know I mentioned the Sunsa wand blinds to control my blinds, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I was put on to another company. They make something called E-blinds. And they are Zigbee based wand controllers. Really cool. They're based out of Florida, Seth. I ordered a couple because I still needed more, and I have them running in my bedroom now, and I really like these E-blinds. I mean, the Sunsa ones were nice, but these take the cake because you could still turn the rod, like it doesn't spin all the way around. You kind of like twist it a little to one side or the other, and it will open and close manually too and stuff like that. So it's really cool. They're really easy to install. They look really good, and I can really recommend the E-blinds if anyone's looking at something like this. So just wanted to give that a mention and a shout because I'm always looking out for better products out there. Our friends at Apollo Automation, I just wanted to mention the holiday ornaments I ordered in November arrived yesterday. So finally got them after waiting almost 2 months. But that was because in Canada, we had a postal strike for just over a month. So they got kind of caught up in that. So we're now getting back on track. But they did also announce that they're getting a Works with Home Assistant and Homey certification. Right. So they will become like not a partner, but, like officially supported on Home Assistant. So that's good to see there too. Right.
Very nice.
Yep. Anybody that's in the Home Assistant and use Zigbee to MQTT, if you haven't upgraded to Zigbee to MQTT 2.0, make sure you read the release notes, please. There's a lot of breaking changes. A lot of people are unhappy. Essentially, what you had to do was go into the configuration.yaml file for Zigbee to MQTT and add an extra line so it can find your adapter, and then you're back in business for most part. But a lot of people were mad about this because after, blindly upgrading, it broke their Zigbee stuff, right? And when you have 100 devices on Zigbee, you're not happy. But just wanted to mention that. I got my gas water heater online.
Oh, what? Is that safe?
So this is a smaller part of a bigger story. So I'll start with the other part of the story. So our friend Morton, again, he's getting a lot of mention these days. I believe it was him in our Slack channel that mentioned IoT setting on Unify. And I've never seen this setting before, but I have I set up a 2.4 gigahertz network, and it's called Enhanced IoT Connectivity. And I've always had it off. And apparently when you turn it on, it does some magic and disables stuff and configures things so IoT devices work better. So I've been fighting with, I have a Ream water heater, and they have this Wi-Fi accessory that you plug in, and it brings you can now control it with Home Assistant and stuff like that, right? And get reports and stuff. And it was never getting online, even when I had a 2.4 gigahertz network. Well, I flicked the switch and then it got online, right? So I've been looking at other things around the house that, were giving me problems with Wi-Fi and dropping off randomly, including things like the Sonos speakers. Right? They would drop off randomly and come back on. And I added them to this IoT network now, and they stay online too. My Harmony hubs, they're not dropping off. So this switch is doing some magic in there that now my printer, more reliable. I'm happy about this. So it was a nice find by him. I'm glad he shared it because now when I add a device to Wi-Fi, I'm looking at what it supports in terms of that Wi-Fi. And if it's a 2.4 device, I'm just going to put it on this 2.4 network. and just let it stay there, right? Instead of put it on the regular network that kind of shares 2.4 and 5 and determines where the device goes. No, I'm just going to put it on a direct 2.4 network, and they seem to be much happier with that. So something to keep in mind. And if you have the gas Rheem water heater, the Wi-Fi module still kind of sucks in terms of how reliable, like not how reliable it is, just it still is hard to get online, but I ended up just sitting my phone right on it, and it seemed to work at that point. And with this new network, and now my gas water heater, I can control it and turn it down when or away and stuff like that, right? And it has alerts and blah, blah, blah if there's a leak. So that's cool. And then finally, one of the other things I just quoted this week, I'm getting my electrical panel upgraded. Finally. So my electrical panel is currently all fuses. It's an old one, right?
I cannot believe that's a thing, but
it is a thing. And you know what? Right? It's funny because, I've had fuses blow, and I actually bought those resettable fuses. So when they trip, you just press a little button and then you don't have to buy a new fuse, but
like breakers.
Yeah, kind of similar concept. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I got fed up, and I finally got approval, to get somebody to come in and replace it. So they'll be coming in to replace it, and I'll finally be in the new era with the breakers, and I'm going to put in something like a whole home surge protection to protect all my devices. Yep. I'm putting in a dedicated 30 amp plug for my server rack and stuff like that. I'll even put in I think they call it a transfer switch. So I can hook up a generator outside and just flick a switch, and then it will be able to power things in the house too. So I'm getting all that done. But on top of that, I took TJ's advice and I ordered an Emporia View 3. And this you hook up in the breaker panel on all the legs, and it monitors energy for each of your circuits. And you can integrate it with Home Assistant. And I know the popular thing about this was flashing it with ESP Home, so it's all local. But for now, I'm just going to leave it the cloud-based. I'm okay with that. People have said they've had no issues with the cloud and it working. And it's not a critical device to me, so it can be cloud dependent. And then at least I know later on I can flash it with ESP Home if the cloud becomes a problem, right? But I ordered one of those. I got it, and I'll be installing that as well. So I'll have full visual into how the electricity in my house is being used. And I could say stuff like, hey, stop doing your laundry at this time because it's costing us a lot of money. And I know you did the laundry at this time. Don't tell me you didn't, so yeah.
I think it'll be one of your favorite automation products whenever you get it installed. For me, it's just really nice to look at. It hasn't really changed any of my behavior, and I wouldn't say it necessarily has helped me in any way, but I have created some automations based on when the dryer stops running, or if the UPS loses power or the fridge loses power, stuff like that. Yep. And so that part is nice. But for me, it's really just the data. I like to see how much power we're using and to see if it kind of collaborates with whatever our power company is using or saying we're using, because we've run into that problem with water and stuff like that, where it's just well, they say you've used this much, but it really, this over here is saying you haven't used that much, and it kind of gives you something to go back to.
Yeah, I totally agree, because at least it should line up with what they're saying, right? So, and it will give me an idea of, we could actually get into that argument of, are we running the AC too much, or is the pool pump running too much? It's costing us this much, that type of stuff.
Well, and Home Assistant it's nice too, because you can put a dollar value on those too, and so you can actually see how much circuit is costing you.
Yep. So in terms of utilities, I'll have electricity tied in. I'll have the water tied in. Even the water heater is tied in. I don't have gas yet because I don't think our gas meter smartness we can tap into that. I think it's encrypted or something, but I know some people have used, I forgot what they called it, but
SDR antenna.
No, not the SDR. That I use for my water.
So that's what I use for my gas.
People have used little pies with cameras and a little AI thing, and it's basically just watching the numbers and reporting what the number on your meter is. There's an actual app that does this for you. It ties into Home Assistant, so it takes a picture every how many seconds and sends it over, and then analyzes the picture and says the number is now this, and then it updates the sensor, and that's how they get the. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it would be cool to get my gas in there too, because I use a lot of gas between whether it's cooking or drying, using the dryer, the pool heater. It'd be nice to know how much I'm using, right, when we have our parties and stuff like that. So That will probably be this year's projects. One of this year's projects.
Nice. That'd be cool.
We will see. And that pretty much wraps it up.
Definitely a worthwhile upgrade going on there.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because whenever I give these ideas to like the electrician coming in doesn't know anything about smarts stuff, right? But when he came in and he saw my server rack, first of all, he asked me if I was mining Bitcoin, right?
You said no, Dogecoin.
No, but he didn't know anything about smart home. But when he started seeing it around my house, he was like, "Wow, all this stuff." And then I told him what I wanted to wire.
He's like, "No wonder you need a panel upgrade."
Yeah, and then when I told him about the Emporia View, he was interested in that. He was like, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that." I said, "Well, sir, welcome to Home Assistant."
I got you.
Yeah, no, I got you. Like we could do some bartering here. You could get a little gas for, a little discount on the work, like we will see.
Well, and you got a good deal too. So you were telling me about the price, and that is way cheaper than what I can get it for. So I would be jumping on that as well. So I think you're getting a good deal.
I was expecting a higher price. I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast now, but I was expecting a post-COVID price, but no, he came with a pre-COVID. And it helps when you, if you have a pair of like, what are they, the worker pants, go to in Canada, we have a Marks and you can buy a Carhartt worker, just blue pants and stuff like that. Then they come and these guys come to give you a quote and they see you in that and they're like, "Oh, this guy works in the industry," right? He's one of the tradesmen. And then they can't give you some BS price at that point because they know. And he actually said, he goes, "Okay, I'm giving you a good price because I know the pricing in the industry." And I went along with it. And he gave me the discount. I was like, "Okay, sounds good." But I didn't know what to expect. But that's a little trick for some people,
Hey, he doesn't know you just sit behind a desk all day.
No, he thought I was in the industry. He thought I was a tradesman and stuff. He's like, "Okay, I know about the pricing and stuff. I'm going to give you the discount." And I'm like, "Oh, awesome! All I had to do was wear these pants." That's a good investment. Go buy a pair of Carhartt pants. Good investment. Not the stylish ones, the worker ones. You can even throw some dirt on it, make it look.
You get some dirty.
Yeah, get it dirty and wrinkled up. And when they come to give you a quote, they will think that you know more than you really know.
Oh man, I'm going to keep that in mind because I've been using spray foam in the den as we finish it, and I've got a pair of jeans with spray foam on them now that I can't wear out in public. But maybe I could wear them when I go out to buy things,
or when people come to give the quotes or something like that. You know, they'll be like,
okay, well, this guy's homeless. So.
Not homeless, but the pricing and how it works. Like we charge you for we mark it up 200%, but I can't. This guy knows that, so I can't do it that much.
Well, it's kind of like it sounds similar to along the lines of like when I've heard of people when they go to somebody's house and they have like a Tesla in their driveway or something, like the quote automatically doubles.
Yes,
because it's like, well, we know you can afford a Tesla, so I believe there's probably some merit to that.
Yeah, so I keep my cars in the garage, and then I wear my worker pants, and get some good quotes.
Man,
see,
life hacks from Gavin.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh man, epic project showed this.
It was building up.
Sonos and projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have any. There were so many stories of CES last week. It was kind of hard to do anything else besides CES. So just figured it'd be good to do projects this show.
Yeah, it was like a nice and quiet week. Nope, Sonos.
Yeah,
there we go.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up everything this week. We've got more projects to get back to. I've got a couple. I have one for you guys. I have one for you guys that I have to show you. Yeah, I haven't showed you yet. But for everyone else, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, and especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and everyone else in there can see all sorts of fun stuff. You can see the big TV before we post it. You can get all those projects that Morton's been doing that, he needs to be on the project show. He was getting stuff done. Really he was.
Yeah. You could see a big TV that one of the people in the group, I'm not going to say who, installed above a door.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say his name, but his initials are TJ.
That's all right. Hey, I'm just impressed I got that all by myself.
Yeah, and then the big TV. You also have posted a interesting YouTube link. We'll put it in the show notes too about the big TV, the big TV Sony made. I watched that whole thing. It was great.
45-inch CRT TV. That was the biggest CRT TV that they made. Supposedly.
Can you imagine having to lift that into the house?
No, it took them if you watch the video, it took 8 people just to move it out of the room. So
I remember doing one of the first 103-inch Panasonic plasma TVs, right? And those were monsters. They ran off 220 volts, and it took 2 AC lifts and 8 people to get it up onto the wall. It was not a fun install at all. I have nightmares about that still. It was a decade ago. Anyway, if you want to help out,
you should talk to a therapist.
If you want to help out with our mental issues and can't support financially, appreciate it. A 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. We will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
Yeah, this thing doesn't know what rap is. I made
hip hop rap. It doesn't know.
It does not. The rap songs are not good. They are not rap. They are not. But it did actually do a really good a hip hop song. So I'll get that up real fast.
Hip hop rap, same thing.
Yeah, it's not hip hop. It's more like pop. So let's see if I can find it. I made many of them and then had to subscribe to the thing because I ran out of credits.